Here's how I'm using chat to help me to research, outline, and avoid things like tropes in my novel. If you've got an idea, then now what? So, this is a part where you can take your story and turn it into a plan that actually works. In this video, let's get into how chat, I'm going to pull up the interface. Let's get right through it on how it can help you to do genre research, analyze trends, spot overused tropes, and turn like a random novel idea into a full outline. And that might be awful, but it gives you something to think about and something to work with. So I'm going to walk through how I ask it to look up the most popular books, do things like pull complaints from Amazon and Reddit, help me avoid the biggest pitfalls that writers fall into. And then I'm going to show you how I ask chat to use frameworks like Pixar or Save the Cat to start shaping the story and digging into it so I can think a little more deeply, how to break it down into scenes, maybe even calculate how many weeks. And lastly, I'm going to demo the Canvas tool, which is a bit like having a living Word document that you can edit and expand live. I've avoided it for a year and I shouldn't have. It's amazing. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels and you've never used chat before and you want to get into using the thing, this is a video that's going to help. As always, chat will say at the bottom it can make mistakes, check important info, have it do the research for you instead of going to Google and spending 4 hours and maybe ending up on an FBI watch list because the stuff that we reach, we authors research is just all over the place. You can also have chat go ahead and do that. So let's show you how that happens. So if you've never done this, you just go, "Hi, chat. I would like you to research all of the top trending fiction novels for, I don't know, fantasy and military sci-fi, and give me a list of all of the most popular books and identify all of the top tropes that are in them, and then research the complaints that people have about all of these books. Use Amazon reviews and Reddit and Quora feedback to see what reviews you can get and give me suggestions on how I can avoid falling into the same traps." Okay, and then I'll go in here and tweak it so it says Quora as the actual feedback thing. So this is now going to have it go online and research and give you feedback. And sometimes, as you can see, it'll alternate between two different responses. Look at this. So it's now researching and pulling in live information from the internet. Super helpful. Okay, here is a list of fantasy titles, and it'll give you two different versions. So you just read through and you can pick the one you like. Let's say I focus on the left. There's military sci-fi, common tropes, chosen one, magic schools, quest narratives, right? Pretty usual things. Military sci-fi tropes, post-apocalyptic, military hierarchies, space battles, pretty good standard stuff. Common reader complaints. Here are things that we want to avoid in writing the story that we're creating. So, predictable plots, overuse of common tropes. So, okay, we need suggestions on how to be a little more creative here. Underdeveloped characters, lack of depth in character arcs. So, we can ask chat to take what we think is our character arc and then have it act like a developmental editor and push us to think or give us suggestions on how we can actually take our character and make it a little deeper. Okay, military sci-fi, too much tech. People seem to complain about that. One-dimensional characters, repetitive battle scenes, combat sequence that lack variety. Okay, so you can see this is instantly letting you know these are things I need to pay attention to when I'm crafting my novel to avoid them, or if they're all in there, which, hey, is what we do, is we use tropes. If they're all in there, then I can ask chat, I've got battle scenes in here. What can I do to avoid falling into these kinds of tropes? Now, look, it's even giving me the suggestions like I asked for. So innovate on them. So you can try subverting them, mashing them up, deepen the character development, balance the pacing, develop a coherent and immersive world. Again, a lot of the stuff that chat can give you is straight up basic. Like it goes, develop a coherent and immersive world with rules and settings that enhance the narrative. Like, okay, how do I do that? What do I do with that? So you can take this and you can copy it and go, "Hi, chat. Help me understand how to do this better if I'm writing an epic sci-fi story similar to Star Wars." Okay. Now, chat is remembering the context of the entire thread that you're in, like a friend remembering kind of the conversations. Chat is also getting better, if not, it's already better at remembering all of the conversations that you have across each of these different set of conversations that you're having. So look at this information here. You could probably go and research and find all of this information on blogs, in books. Frankly, it's going to take you a ton of time. Will you learn more interesting things? Maybe. Will you probably waste a ton of time? Yes. Will you have to endure a ton of very bad ads and poor website design? Probably. Now, here is something I really like to do. You can not only see it's straight up telling you how to think about doing all of this stuff, provide me with research and links that I can continue reading on the internet, something like that. Maybe you would totally say that in a better or different way. See how it is now going out. It is searching the web and it is finding information related to what I just asked it for. Look at this here. Link to these links to stories. You can go out and follow all of these. Okay. tvtropes.org. There's a link to that. Link to Reddit. What are the most common complaints about books? Okay. So helpful. I mean, I probably would never have found this Reddit thread, right? Unless you specifically tell it to otherwise. Chat will try to be helpful within the context of what you ask it. So let's say, chat, let's assume flat earth theory is true. I want you to help me understand how somebody can invent anti-gravity. And let's go ahead and see what it says. So it's going to say, let's explore this as a thought experiment. If you get, now obviously I have picked something specifically unusual. Ask it to role play somebody else who profoundly, you know what, let's just go ahead and do this. I want you to role play as somebody who profoundly disagrees with everything that I just said and challenge me on my assumptions. Super helpful, right? Look at this. There you go. Let me stop you right there. You're talking about inventing anti-gravity in a flat earth framework. I have to be blunt. You're building a fantasy machine on a broken foundation. Okay. Sometimes if we're not aware of what we're talking about, this can help us, and then we can ask it, give me the research to show where you're coming from. So avoiding biases is insanely helpful. Last thing here, if any of this has been helpful, please hit the like button and tell me what you think and what questions you have. So last thing I want to leave you with is how chat can help you take ideas and turn it into a framework so that you can field test and think through an idea. So let's say that I've got an idea for a novel. Okay, I'm driving home and I'm thinking, oh, this could be super cool. Do I want to spend time with it? I don't know yet. Now, before chat, I would probably half write it down, not really, half think about it for the next 2 weeks, obsess over it, basically get stuck in a little loop over the few things that I have thought about. And then after sort of maybe 2 weeks and like 10 conversations with a couple of friends, then finally decide, okay, maybe it's not that helpful. Or now you can go to something like chat. So here's something that I might like to do. So I might go, hi chat, I've got an idea for, let's say, a novel, and it's a story where somebody finds a rabbit hole and they head down it and they accidentally fall into an entirely strange new world where everything is upside down and there are dangerous creatures that want to crawl through, and this character is the only person that can give them access to the upper world, which is now profoundly in danger because they fell down the rabbit hole. I want you to help me develop this idea into a potential novel, create a dramatic blurb for me, outline where a story like this might go, and then apply a Pixar storytelling framework and give me suggestions on how I could make this really interesting and captivating. So here we go. Root idea, give me some feedback, give me some framework. And frankly, half of my friends have probably not memorized the Pixar framework, but I know that it's really cool because, well, it's been published and out there for a long time. And it's just so helpful to have something else chat with me through it. And so it does its usual run of praise and support. And then it gets into, look at this, dramatic novel blurb, the hollow beneath. All right, potential story outline. Here's where chat will usually do the best it can, and it'll give you stuff that you didn't ask for or expect, but you can have a look. It follows the different points and steps of sometimes good storytelling, like you can tell it follow the hero's journey, follow the save the cat methodology, here's my idea, see what, what I'm missing or what I would need to flesh it out. And so now I'm reading through this like, ooh, act two, this is actually kind of good. This is kind of interesting. I didn't even think about this part. So I might copy that over to my novel thing and start building that out. Here's act three and different ending options. Now, if we follow the Pixar story framework, this is kind of interesting. This once upon a time, every day, until one day, because of that, right? Hi, Chad. I want you to take all of this, summarize it into a blog post idea, and create a new canvas for it so that we can edit it together. All right, let's see if this will do it, because sometimes, there we go, it creates something a bit like a Word document. All right, got it. Canvas is super helpful because when you're generating stuff with chat, every time it responds, it'll try to give you everything all straight back inside the chat. But when you use a canvas like this, it's a bit like it's created its own Word document. Now, I avoided using this for a year and I could kick myself because it is awesome. So you can come right in here and then you can go, oh, you know what? I don't like this line, delete that. And you can edit this thing live. Here is potential story outline. Maybe we can take this part out. We're going to go act one, the new world. Like we might rename this. We might get rid of this part. We can even come here and go, oh, that's interesting. Give me more suggestions. You can adjust the length. Let's go ahead and make that longer. And then it's going to like highlight that part. And now look at that, expand it. And half the time when you do this sort of thing, it adds fluff because it has no real context on how to make it better. Sometimes it's going to actually do an interesting job. You can also go something like this, which is what I like to do, and go pretend or act like, for example, Stephen King, and give me suggestions to improve this. And then hit enter. Over on the left, it's now going to start giving you feedback. There you go. Well, see, it's chronicling it on the left, it's going full Stephen King over on the right. Okay, so let's say this has been a really helpful thing working on this in this area right here. You can then copy this, put this over in your other area where you do like to actually edit it to save it. And you can go, I need your help turning this into a scene by scene breakdown, identify word count for each scene. I want this novel to be about 50,000 words, and I am able to write 3 days a week. So pair, let's say an hour a day for 3 days a week to 50,000 words. How long is it going to take me? Give me a scene by scene or chapter breakdown. I'm not even sure how coherent that was, but hey, I'm just going to let chat do some of that figuring out because I'm in the zone and I just want help kicking through an idea. So here it is. It's now giving me a breakdown idea, 50,000 words, let's say 3 days a week, estimated pace, maybe 500, 750 words, which is apparently the average for focused writing. Well, that's helpful to know. At 600 words an hour, 1,800 words a week is going to take me about 28 weeks. That's really helpful to know. All right, if we average a scene as 1,000 to 1,200 words, then here's scene one, maybe 1,200, scene two, scene three, four, and look at it, just breaking it all out. Half of this stuff I didn't even ask for. Half of this might not even fit the story I want to tell, but a bunch of it can be very fun and interesting to kind of field test. And sometimes it can give me ideas that go, you know what? This could be cool, but I think I'm good. I scratched that itch. I don't need to write this thing anymore. I can get back to my life and just maybe archive this for the future. Okay, you've now seen the whole toolkit. So far, I might record a new video, but we've covered how to brainstorm, how to get feedback, how to research and build an outline that can actually work maybe with your schedule. You've seen how I'm using chat to like spot common tropes and how I'm breaking a novel into scenes and how I use writing frameworks like Pixar or Save the Cat or anything else that you might actually prefer to shape the structure. And this can get you up to speed so much quicker if you've only got a few hours a week, right, to get into it. So here's the part where it's all starting to feel maybe real, like your book could actually happen. Get a free account with chat, or you can pony up to 20 bucks a month and start playing with it. Now, if this opened your brain a little and you want to go further, I've got a bonus series on my channel on the 7 mindsets that I like to bring to AI and how it's become insanely helpful for me. These are the deep shifts that have helped AI be helpful instead of everything just feeling overwhelming. It's again not so much about the tool, it's about how you can think. So if you're ready to start writing and getting more help to create with more clarity and more confidence and less second guessing, especially when life is hard and you don't have a lot of budget, and maybe if you got a dash of ADD or just you're insanely creative like me, check out that series. I think it's going to be here on screen. I think you're going to love it and it'll be really helpful. And I'd love to know what you think. Cheers.